What's good, my crypto news alerts fam? JV back. Happy Sunday, October 16th. This is podcast episode number 1076 of the Crypto News Alerts pod, and we'll be getting started here in just a few moments. So if you're just joining, let me know who you are in the comments right down below, as Bitcoin price action is currently sitting at around $19,146, which you can see right here on the screen. Lot of news to cover, of course. There's always so much going on. That's why I decide to go live even on Saturdays and Sundays when there is not a lot of news, just because there's still so much occurring and happening right now in the market. So if you're just joining, let me know who you are in the comments below. We'll get started in about 20 to 30 seconds. And don't forget to smash that like, hit that bell icon, make sure you got all the notifications turned on, drop a comment below, and be sure to go share this on social media. Good morning, BitBud, and cheers, brother. Always a pleasure. No more intro music because I got a copyright strike, even though it was copyright-free music, and they demonetized my videos for playing that intro music, so just FYI. So that's why there's no music currently. Ellen, good morning, family. Always a pleasure. Lazy Tech says good morning. Good morning. Happy Sunday, October 16th. Dial in. Not fully yet, BitBud. I just have a lot I'm also setting up here in the house, but that's definitely a priority. So absolutely, we got to get that water dialed in 100%. And I appreciate the motivation. Dan Drummond says freestyle. Let's do it. Stacking sats. I do my stacking sats freestyle. What's good? What's good? Welcome, everyone. I don't want to waste anybody's time. For those who are on here nice and early, a good evening from Saudi Arabia. It's good to see people here from all around the world. So let's kick off today's show. Good morning, Tom, to you as well. So welcome, everybody, to an episode of Crypto News Alerts. I'm your host, JV. This is podcast episode number 1076 of the Crypto News Alerts pod. In today's show, top analyst says breakout rallies for Bitcoin and Ethereum will leave the bears in disbelief and shares his targets. Quoting the analyst here, Bitcoin reversed today right from the linear trend line from the all-time high with the diagonal resistance out of the way. This analyst says Bitcoin is gearing up for a nearly 40% rally to hit his target of around $27,000. Send it. And Plan B, creator of the Bitcoin stock to flow model, updates us with the stock to flow and says 20,000 is the new $4,000. Now check this out. Fun fact, currently less than 5% of the global population is invested in crypto. That means we have 95% more to go. And quoting Kanye West, I put $140 million into JP Morgan Chase and they treated me like ish. I am outraged, as he should be. Also in today's show, nodes are going to dethrone the tech giants from Apple to Google. That's right, decentralized systems are slowly putting the power back in the hands of developers and users, ultimately the people, and taking it away from big tech. Also in today's show, crypto attorney predicts the next move in Ripple and XRP lawsuit after the SEC evidence setback. I'll be sharing the latest updates regarding this case. Also in today's show, I'll be sharing the top 3 altcoins to accumulate for the next bull cycle, according to Invest Answers. Also in today's show, I'll be sharing that the next bull run will start next year in 2023, according to the Bitwise CEO. Quoting him here, in 2014, the market was down 60%, almost 60%. In 2018, the market down north of 70%. And this year, obviously 2022, the market is down around 60%. The expectation, if the market continues its historical trend, would be that we begin a new cycle next year. Also in today's show, on-chain analyst Willy Woo says Bitcoin is on track to hit 1 billion unique users way before 2030. In fact, he says within the next 3 years by 2025. Quoting him here on crypto Twitter, Bitcoin took 6 months to get 1,000 users, 5 years to find 1 million users. Today, 13.8 years from inception, it has 300 million plus users, 4% of the world. And at the current growth rates, 1 billion users will be hit in the next 3 years. That's 12% of the world. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. And those just tuning in, welcome to another episode of Crypto News Alerts podcast, episode number 1076. With that being shared, before we get into the market watch, I want to give a quick shout out to iTrust Capital, the #1 crypto IRA platform in the world. Do you know you can invest in the top cryptos as well as precious metals, gold and silver? There are no monthly fees and only a 1% transaction fee. They do offer institutional grade storage, and you can get started today. Open up your crypto IRA account with iTrust Capital with only $1,000, and for signing up today, you're going to receive a $100 reward in BTC or your favorite crypto for funding your account. So go ahead and get set up today, and let's get this crypto tax-free, shall we? With that being shared, once again, welcome back everyone to today's episode of Crypto News Alerts. Let's dive right into the markets and see what is happening. This is one of my favorite resources, Coin360. I just like the overall visual here on the screen. It shows you Bitcoin barely in the green, but guess what? We've been maintaining that critical 19,000 support. We're currently trading at 19,150 at the time of this recording, which is live, just FYI. And you can see the Ether price barely in the red, maintaining around 1,284, just under $1,300. We have XRP down almost 2%, now trading at about 47.5 cents. We got Solana barely in the red, maintaining just above $29.90, while Binance Coin, Cardano, and Polkadot are also barely in the green. So it's been pretty overall boring price action in the crypto markets as we continue to trade sideways. And let's refresh here on CoinMarketCap. Get the latest data for y'all. You can see 916 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. I'm sorry, the total market cap is 916 billion with 24 billion in volume, which is virtually nothing in the crypto market. Holy moly, with the Bitcoin dominance at 40.1% and the Ether dominance at 17.2%. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers in the past 24 hours, we have the friendly ghosts. Casper up 10%, trading at 4 cents, followed by Waves up 8%, trading at $3.56, followed by Synthetics up 7%, trading at $2.24, followed by Maker, Arweave, and PancakeSwap. And checking out the top 100 cryptocurrency gainers for the past week, you can see a sea of red as most of the altcoins had massive losses. However, there are a handful in the green still, including Helium up a whopping 71%, Casper up 22%, we got Maker up 11.5%, and another major gainer for the week is Quant up over 18%. And checking out one of my favorite indicators, it's the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. As you can see here, we're currently rated a 24 out of 100 in extreme fear. Also the same as yesterday, last week, and last month, we have been stuck in fear or extreme fear for ultimately most of this year of 2022. Which is crazy, but I mean, what more do you expect during a bear market or a crypto winter? Now, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That could be a great buying opportunity. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. And that's precisely what we've been witnessing here with the boring price action. How many of you are currently bullish or bearish on the King crypto? Let me know in the comments below. And I'm going to check the live chat once more before we dive right in and look at some Bitcoin and Ethereum charts. Let's see who we got here. Coinfather, welcome. Always a pleasure. Stacking sats for life. Ellen says, I paid off this house in 10 years now. 2 credit cards, but no more mortgage payment. Congratulations. That's massive, Ellen. Coinfather says, my house mortgage is all I have. Dragon Flower, being debt-free must feel euphoric. 100%. I can tell you firsthand from experience. Ellen also says, I think Bitcoin is going to explode as there is no more silver to buy. So that's what's left that you can buy. 1 Satoshi, start stacking. Bitcoin will have a bounce before dropping to 12K, says BitBud. But with all that being shared, let's dive right into these charts for Ethereum and Bitcoin and do a little TA, shall we? All right, let's break it down. Let's start with Bitcoin. Closely followed strategist and trader is predicting Bitcoin and Ether, and will have rallies and leave the naysayers in disbelief. Justin Bennett is the analyst with about 110,000 Twitter followers. He says the Bitcoin has successfully broken above its diagonal resistance, a trend line that has kept the market bearish since November of 2021, which ironically enough was the all-time high. Quoting him here, and as you can see on this chart, Bitcoin reversed today right from the linear trend line from the all-time high. Now with this diagonal resistance out of the way, Bennett says the Bitcoin is gearing up for a nearly 40% rally to his target of around 27,000, which he outlines here in this chart, and he writes, "It is over." Now, the analyst is looking at Bitcoin's inverted price chart, which traders sometime do to check whether their bias still holds from a different perspective. And based on Bennett's chart, he's predicting Bitcoin will hit his target by December of 2022, which is right around the corner, isn't it? In the short term, however, the crypto strategist says Bitcoin can still move below 19,000 before starting its rally. As he shares here, there is a liquidity gap at 18,500. Markets are still sideways with lower wicks to fill, and we're going into the weekend, not to mention the deviation above 19,540, which he shares here in this chart. And at the time of this recording, as I said, we've been maintaining that strong critical 19,000 support. As if we break below that, I think 18.5 is next. We break below that, then we're retesting the low at 17,005. And looking at leading smart contract platform Ethereum, Bennett says ETH looks bullish after managing to recover a key support level, as he shares in this chart, with a bullish reclaim from ETH. Bears in disbelief sent it. And based on the analyst's chart, it appears he is predicting an abrupt ETH rally to almost $1,500 in the coming days. And at this time of this recording, as you can see here, we have ETH trading at just $1,284. So there you have it. And now let's check out Plan B. He updated us here. 20,000 is the new 4,000. And it shows you stock to flow, which is predicting a $100,000 Bitcoin price sometime between 2024 and 2025, which, hey, is around the corner. And I love it. I mean, back in, March of 2020, after the Novid crisis, we had the opportunity to get that Bitcoin at an extreme discount of around $4,000. And those of you who did rode that bull rally all the way up to 69K. It was amazing, to say the least. And as pointed out here, we still have 95% more to go for crypto adoption around the world, as currently less than 5% of the global population is even invested into crypto. So this is like this sector is really just a pup. We're just getting started. And Kanye West, much respect to him. I covered this in a few episodes previous where I had Kanye on the title of the thumbnail, and I thought this was outrageous. JP Morgan threatened to shut down all of his bank accounts and told him to move his money out or it will get frozen. And obviously, because he has a different political agenda, he has a different voice than the mainstream, and because of that, they said, we're going to punish you and we're going to use you as an example. But what if, because Kanye is so influential, he is the wealthiest African American in the world, after all, one of the biggest superstars when it comes to music and all that kind of stuff, married or was married to Kim Kardashian, biggest influencer in the world. They have hundreds of millions of followers. So for him to say, F these banks, they treated me like ish, I am outraged, that just goes to show you that this can create a domino effect amongst influencers that are saying, hey, I don't want to be shut down, all my money frozen as well. And what if they move to the Bitcoin protocol, which is decentralized? This is a pretty big deal, and I think this will help usher in that mass adoption as the Bitcoin game theory continues in full effect. And with all that being shared, now I want to actually discuss the power of nodes to dethrone big tech, which is an interesting conversation, right? As we all know, how many of you actually run a Bitcoin node? Let me know in the comments below. I have a Bitcoin node. I started running mine years back, and then I moved and I never reset it up. So again, more motivation to set that baby up as well. Because how do you become the Bitcoin network? You set up a node, and there's so many benefits to that, and it overall helps the security of the network. So I would love to know in the comments below how many of you are currently running a node. And with that being shared, can you see my dog sleeping in the bed from the mirror? That's my dog Nipsey. He's the best dog ever. Just shout out to Nipsey. All right, let's break down this story of the day. And there's a lot here, so I want to get right into the nuts and bolts. Okay, just as Bitcoin broke money and allowed people to think about the exchange of value in new ways, newer blockchain protocols have the chance to break data in a world that has been consumed by software and all these huge companies allowing us to think about the exchange of that data in new ways. And oftentimes they're using our data against us. They're selling it. That's really what they are. They're selling data to third parties, and nothing is free. So just because you have a free Instagram or Facebook account doesn't mean they're not benefiting and profiting off of you. So do keep that in mind. Now, Web3 and the projects it will birth promise to redefine how information lives and is carried through the internet autonomously and transparently. Decentralization first and community-first ecosystem, promises to put the power back in the hands of developers and thus the users who will use their decentralized applications, better known as dApps. Now, this will allow for common frameworks that promotes the best practices and economies of scale that will be able to compete with the largest centralized entities of the internet. Now, this isn't to say that we've reached the decentralized utopia. We have a long ways to go, right? Though decentralized systems are also ostensibly trustless systems, it is ironically trust that still must be built up in these systems for both developers and users. Whatever the disadvantage of relying on companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Apple, the big tech giants, they have banked decades worth of that trust, credibility, I don't know about all that, and familiarity that makes it difficult for both developers and users to switch to an entirely new way of doing things. But part of building that trust is rewiring the incentivization model, and has supported, which we've seen over the last several decades for the internet, and for a new decentralized internet to actually work. It will mean that users buying into nodes and developers best utilizing those nodes to build software that is simple enough to run and access on one phone, such as a Uber or Wordle. I'm not even familiar with Wordle. Now, it's the decentralized Web3 community. If they're able to do it and actually succeed, we can restore the world that has been eaten by software, one node at a time. What are your thoughts surrounding this? Do you think big tech is ultimately going to go away as we have a Web3 decentralized future? Or do you think they'll just adapt, just like Facebook adapted with Meta, which is probably not going so well right now with that entire transition? But it seems to be the future and the way that the crypto market is moving. And I think these big tech companies are smart enough to know not to get, not to get taken out. They have to make those strategic advances, to embrace crypto, because that's what the people want at the end of the day. But I would love to know, do you think that decentralization will be likely as far as for the web, the internet? Do you think it'll be decentralized in the sense that you'll have free speech? Or do you think that's a pipe dream? Do you think the controllers that be and big tech will ultimately always try to control the people as they're currently doing? I'd love to know your outlook on the future for that. So holla at your boy in the comments below. With that being shared, let's move on to the latest of what's going on between Ripple / XRP versus the SEC. This has been a long ongoing case since I think November or December of 2020. And unfortunately, XRP hodlers missed out on the big bull run of 2021 when Bitcoin in the crypto market broke out, hitting new all-time highs because of the suppression of the exchanges delisting XRP in the United States because of fears that it might be a security. And with all that being shared, let's just dive right in to this story. Here we go. Crypto legal expert Jeremy Hogan predicts that US SEC will not appeal the judge's decision ordering the securities regulator to release contentious evidence in its lawsuit against blockchain-based payments company Ripple Labs. Hogan, a Ripple proponent, tells his almost 250,000 Twitter followers that on September 29th, the U.S. District Judge Torres overruled the SEC's objection to turning over emails sent by William Hinman, the former SEC Corporation Finance Division director. However, the XRP-friendly lawyer highlights that Judge Torres did not specifically say when the SEC should turn over the evidence. So in this case, Hogan says that the SEC has 2 months or more to comply. Quoting him here, the deadline becomes when an appeal of the judge's ruling is due. The court is lenient like this because once the documents are handed over, it can't be undone. So that deadline is basically 60 days, maybe longer if they move for reconsideration, which I doubt they would do. So there you have it. 60 days is ultimately till the end of the year. He's saying we can have a clear verdict on this case and it could potentially be over. Now, the evidence in question includes internal emails written by Hinman and largely related to the speech he made late in 2018, where he stated Ethereum was not a security. I repeat, he stated Ethereum was not a security. And interestingly enough, now the SEC, now that Ethereum has switched from proof of work to proof of stake, we had Gary Gensler already claiming that Ethereum is now a security. Go figure. Now, Hogan says if the SEC appeals the ruling over the Hinman documents, it could lead to a lengthy legal process, and he does not think that the regulator has a good chance to win on the appeal. Quoting him again here, if the SEC appeals the ruling, it will take a long time to figure out, months. I personally don't think the SEC will appeal because it risks adverse binding case authority by doing so. Bad facts equals bad law, and there are bad facts, but others have different opinions on that. Now, Hogan says even if the SEC appeals appeals. He expects the case to advance over whether Ripple has violated security laws. Ripple argues that XRP is not a security, and also they were not given fair notice by the SEC that was violating any security, that they were in violation of security laws. And Hogan says that the Hinman documents have only a bearing on the fair notice defense issue, as he shares here. I believe that Ripple will object to a ruling on the fair notice defense issue because discovery is not complete. It wins that objection. So even if the SEC appeals the email order, the Section 5 violation issue will continue forward and be fully briefed by November 15th. So keep your eyes out on that date. Now, no matter what happens on the Hinman email issue, no matter the delay, the main issue will move forward to judgment. If Ripple wins on the SEC 5 violation, the FND becomes moot. And if Ripple loses on Section 5, it can still move for summary judgment on the fair notice defense. So there you have it. What are your thoughts surrounding this ongoing lawsuit? And are you optimistic that this can potentially end anytime soon? Let me know in the comments below. And for the sake of XRP holders, I do feel this is I hope this is a big win for the crypto industry at whole, because I feel personally that the SEC has been overreaching within their authority. It seems they're just shaking down big companies worth insane amounts of money. We've seen them do it with Coinbase. We've seen them do it with FTX. Now they're going after all the major cryptocurrencies such as XRP, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go after Ethereum next. That's why I think we need a clear, decisive victory for the entire crypto ecosystem. But let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. With that being shared, now let's discuss some of the top altcoins, not per my opinion, just FYI, but as per the opinion of another top analyst who has a top crypto channel who I love to follow as well, and his name is Invest Answers. He has some really good stuff he shares, so I'm going to share with you why he believes these three altcoins are the top ones to be accumulating. Now, here we go. In a new video discussion with fellow analyst Benjamin Cohen, we had Rob from Digital Asset News, synonymous host of Invest Answers, says that there are three crypto assets besides Bitcoin and Ethereum worth looking at during the current bear market. And as we all know, bear markets are when investors get rich. Here we go. He identifies Ethereum rival Solana and Phantom, plus scaling solution Polygon Matic as the main coins on his radar. Now, obviously, we all know Solana broke in to be a top coin out of nowhere. I think a big help due to FTX. And then this year, we've seen a lot of hacks with Solana, and the price action hasn't been great. It actually has been sucking all year. Phantom, I'm not too familiar with, so this is going to be a good read. And Polygon Matic, I am very bullish on and have been bullish on for a long time. Quitting Invest Answers here. The only two things that I have purchased since this whole year, other than sell stuff, was Bitcoin and Solana. That's it. I have been swapping out of my ETH position because my goal has always been to make them equate for Solana and Ethereum to be the same size. I wouldn't even consider Ethereum to be an altcoin because it's just too big. And on a relative market cap valuation perspective, I think it is very overpriced for what it actually does today. That could change, of course, with adoption, but based on the stuff I look at, tokenomics and daily active users, I like Matic. That would be my number 3. Now, for those of you not too familiar with Polygon/Matic, that is a scaling solution for Ethereum with a real world use case. And he also goes on to share, if I had to pick a third, it would be Phantom, because Phantom has the same number of daily active users as Cardano, aka ADA, but it is trading at 26th of the market cap, and it has some pretty good speed and technology and stuff. And although it has suffered a lot of hits by Andre Cronje, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, leaving, so those would be mine. So those are his top 3 picks. And at the time of this recording, let's see if we can look at the live chart. We have Solana trading still under $30 at $29.90. Polygon/Matic, where are you on this list? It's just a little too hard to see, and I'm not too familiar with his other pick there, Phantom. So with that being shared, let's just use his price actions here. Phantom's changing at around 20 cents. And then we have Matic currently trading at around 80 cents. And to watch this video he did entitled Best 3 Altcoins, be sure to check the show notes below the video in the description. And what are your top 3 picks is the $1 million question. Which 3 altcoins do you feel has the most come up potential for this bear market to be accumulating? Holla at your boy in the live chat, and I'll actually check the live chat and see what you guys have to share. Saul is another Luna, says Ellen. Oh boy. Ellen says, no, I should know. I am out 7,000. BitBuzz says Saul's volume is more than all combined. BitBuzz says silver, gold, Bitcoin, and Solana. That's what he's stacking right now. He says love Solana. Ellen saying Solana is not safe. And welcome for those just tuning in. Dan Drummond says top 3, Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Sats. So there you have it. Just keep stacking sats. Nico says, holla at your boy. Ellen, Solana is going to be the mother Luna. Oh boy. And with that being shared, let's dive right on in to our next story of the day, and let's discuss Bitcoin's next bull run starting in 2023, according to the Bitwise CEO. Here we go. Here we go. What's the scenario? Make sure we're on the right here in the rundown. Boom, here we go. Okay, we have Hunter Horsley, CEO of the technology solutions provider Bitwise. So this is not Jeremy Hogan. Believes bear markets are a great period when investors could increase their exposure to the king crypto. He estimated that the next bull run will begin next year, outlining that his firm's clients have already increased their interest in the asset. Now, in a new interview for Bloomberg, he outlined the historical pattern of Bitcoin's price movement, and during its existence, the primary crypto has passed periodically through 4-year cycles, while bull runs with growing momentum have always followed bear markets, relying on that data. He assumed that the asset will begin the new price rally in 2023, quoting him here. So in 2014, the market was down almost 60%. 2018, the market was down north of 70%. And this year, obviously 2022, the market is down around 60%. The expectation, if the market continues this historical trend, would be that we begin a new cycle next year. How many of you believe that the 4-year halving cycle is still intact and that the next bull run starts and kicks off in 2023? Let me know in the comments below. Despite the current market crash, the executive said that an increasing number of Bitwise customers had renewed their interest in the crypto industry. And in his view, those who hop on the bandwagon now when the prices are much lower compared to last year have a better chance to generate significant profits in the future, quoting him again here. So the story of this year is definitely a bear market. Nevertheless, we've seen increased interest from our client base. And I think the backdrop for many crypto investors is that there have historically been 4-year cycles. And while there are opportunities to make money in many crypto market moments, bear markets are the moments when fortunes can be made. I concur. I agree 100%. This is the come up era, and now is the time to take action. Now, investing during a time of crisis is a strategy that numerous financial experts have adopted. The narrative comes from the fact that price crashes prompted by panic in the space, but when the situation calms down, they surpass the previous valuations. An example was Novid pandemic at its peak around March of, I think it broke out in March of 2020. Bitcoin tumbled below 5,000. However, it recovered its losses a year later, skyrocketing to an all-time high of nearly 70,000. So you do the math. If you purchase Bitcoin at, let's just say it was $5,000 and you were able to have a massive come up, that would be huge at 70K. And I also know I covered Top G, Andrew Tate. Let's discuss this real quick. I covered this, I think, in an episode last week where Andrew Tate invested $600,000 in Bitcoin when Bitcoin was trading around $4,000 after the crash. I think it was in March of 2020. And then he turned that $600,000 investment into $12 million because he bought a large Bitcoin position during the bear market, knowing where Bitcoin was heading over the long haul. So I think that is just a great example of a real world come up from the Top G himself. And with that being shared, let's get back here and back to our story here for the 23 bull run. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, who I also cover very frequently here on the show, also believes that people should allocate some of their wealth to Bitcoin during a severe monetary crisis. Not long ago, he claimed that the galloping inflation and diminishing power of the US dollar, as well as the upcoming recession, amongst other reasons, are the leading factors why investors should increase their Bitcoin exposure. And unsurprisingly, MicroStrategy's executive chairman, Michael Saylor, is also part of that club. In June of this year, he described Bitcoin's crash to 20,000 as a great buying opportunity. And on another note, he advised the residents of economically distressed countries, such as the Turks, to turn to Bitcoin to preserve their wealth during the turmoil. So there you have it. Obviously, if you're not stacking sats, what in the world are you doing with your life? I agree 100% with Michael Saylor. I think now is the greatest buying opportunity for this 4-year cycle, considering we've already nearly hit 70,000. So anything sub 20, in my opinion, is a great steal if you're in it for the long haul. And again, not investment advice. You got to put on your big boy and big girl pants and make decisions for yourself. And you got to take those risks in order to reap those rewards. With that being shared, let's break down our final story of the day. And now let's discuss 1 billion Bitcoin users, not in 2030. We're talking about in the next 3 years, in 2025, according to the on-chain analyst himself, Willy Woo. So let's break this baby down, shall we? Let's go. And shout out to Willy Woo, by the way. Closely followed on-chain analyst says Bitcoin is currently on pace to hit 1 billion unique users in the coming years. Willy Woo tells his 1 million Twitter followers that 12% of the world's population will be using Bitcoin in the next 36 months. Quoting him right here on Crypto Twitter, Bitcoin took 6 months to get to 1,000 users, 5 years to find 1 million users. Today, 13.8 years from inception, it has 300 million plus users, which is 4% of the world. So at the current growth rates, 1 billion users will be hit in the next 3 years. That's 12% of the world. And could you imagine what that would do for the Bitcoin price to see mass adoption like that? A billion unique users for the King Crypto within the next 3 years. Send it. That gets me pretty excited. And he shares this chart, which shows you the adoption curves. You can see the world population. You can see the internet users from the 90s. And then you can see Bitcoin just getting started. Let's go. Now, Woo's forecast that Bitcoin will have 1 billion unique users in 2025 appears to be on the optimistic side, as other industry insiders predict the crypto as a whole will likely hit that milestone by the end of the decade, which would be 2030. Which camp are you on? Do you feel that mass adoption could likely occur by the time of the next halving at around 2025, which is the year after the halving when the market goes parabolic, as Willy Woo is predicting? Or do you think it's more likely to occur by the end of the decade in 2030? Now, in July, a joint report by consulting giant BCG, crypto derivatives exchange BitGet, and blockchain investment institution Foresight Ventures revealed that the total number of crypto users will climb to 1 billion by 2030. Now, obviously, if Willy Woo's prediction comes true and we hit 1 billion unique users just in Bitcoin, could you imagine how many billions of crypto users in general there would be by 2030? OMG. And also, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong made a similar prediction in May, saying 1 billion people will have used crypto within 10 years. And looking at El Salvador, the first country to approve Bitcoin as legal tender, Wu says that the number of people using Bitcoin nearly matched its banking adoption less than a year after its launch. As Willy Woo shares here, of the total population, 40% downloaded the Shivo wallet, 20% continued to use it May 2022, 25% have bank accounts 2021. The Bitcoin launch was September of 2021. And according to Wu, 20% of the country's citizens continue to use Shivo even after claiming they're free $30 worth of BTC, which President Nayib Bukele was kind enough to send every resident. Now let's go back here on Crypto Twitter and let's roll through this. Willy Woo also mentions here, Twitter has 400 million users, and he puts in parentheses, mainly bots, laughing my butt off. PayPal has 430 million users. And you can see from this post he shared back in February of 2021, in terms of adoption, Bitcoin has roughly the same users as the internet had in 1997, but Bitcoin's growing faster. The next 4 years on current path will bring Bitcoin users to 1 billion people. So that's the equivalent of 2005 for the internet. And he shared this adoption curves chart with us, again, back in February of 2021. Let's check out some of his other recent tweets. He also shares where this data came from, but let's get back to the more recent tweet and see what else he has to say. He also put here, to clarify, these are unique users, not addresses. Very important to clarify. Early data is via Glassnode on-chain forensics. Addresses clustered into users according to historic behavior. Users emptying their wallets are removed from the count. Good to keep in mind. Then add unique ID verified exchange accounts and dedupe. And let's see if he has anything else to share. That's it for the on-chain analyst, Willy Woo. Let me know if you agree or disagree with him, and do you feel that the Bitcoin price can likely, or not the Bitcoin price, but as far as 1 billion unique users by 2025, which again is what, just 3 years away. And where do you feel, if Willy Woo is accurate with this prediction, where do you feel that will likely send the Bitcoin price? Let me know in the comments right down below. With all that being shared, now let's dive into some live Q&A, one of my favorite sessions of the show, segments, before we dive right into the big finish. I'm going to give everyone an opportunity to interact. That's why we have a live show. It's for you to share your comments. It's for you to ask your questions to get things addressed. So let's do that right now. And I'm going to read some of your comments out loud. And then I'm also going to check out some of the top comments from yesterday's episode, as I always like to read those out loud and give you guys clout for, taking the time to comment on the show, which I always greatly appreciate. With that being shared, let's check the live chat. Let's start with Trini. Welcome. Good to see you. Just keep stacking. Bitcoin isn't going anywhere but up. I concur. BitBud says, pay off those credit cards, get food and water. You'll have time to buy cryptos at a bigger discount than now. As BitBud is predicting, if I'm not mistaken, $12,000, you feel the low for this cycle. We're going to go much lower than we currently are. We have Dragonflower says most of the people I've gotten to buy Bitcoin won't dollar cost average. They want their $40 to be a million. I can definitely understand where you're coming from there. Tom T, good to see you. That should be $100,000 Bitcoin or higher. Send it and let's freaking go. Yeah. Also, CoinFather says Tom T says 70-ish is good for me. Are you referring to 70,000? Dragon says I buy alts because I don't want to sell Bitcoin. CoinFather 12,000 definitely. Okay. So some of you are feeling that we got much lower to go, which is another 40% drop from here then, as the Bitcoin price is at 19,000. Sorry for them. Money can be made on ish coins. And BitBud is confirming, yes, he's saying between 12 to 13,000 is the next levels down. So you guys let me know if you agree or disagree. And let's check out some of the top comments now from yesterday's episode. I'm going to read them out loud. Mooch, what's up, JV? The new live show is awesome. I don't miss anything with the slower tempo. Thanks, JV. You're very welcome, Mooch. And as always, I appreciate the support. And for those of you on the live chat, don't forget to drop a regular comment as well, as it helps out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And I always like to read the top comments out loud here in this segment. Chris Minka wrote 20,000 is the new 4,000. He agrees with Plan B from the previous cycle. I agree 100%. That's when I got in. And just like back then, nobody was interested in Bitcoin, but they sure were interested when Bitcoin was over 50,000. Same will repeat, except this time Bitcoin is going to go up way more than the lackluster 2021 $69,000 all-time high. I hope you're right, Chris. Send it. J-Dub, the Laker, 24. Put great show as always. JV with a nice little flex. Inner Dino, always appreciate your continued support. Says hello, everyone. We are all doing and the price is in, I hope. And Stephen Hub says you might want to take a further look at the tops in the rainbow price chart. In 2013, the top was over the red band. In December of 2017, it hit top of the red band. In November of 2021, it barely touched the orange band. In the next cycle, it hits the yellow band, and then I'm going to start to take profit. I appreciate those insights. For those of you who missed that rainbow chart, be sure to check out yesterday's episode as I broke that down in great detail, which is ultimately predicting a potential $620,000 plus Bitcoin price here by the time of the next halving. And here we go. Clark Downson put this channel as one of the few out there I always rush to check for daily updates. Appreciate that, fam. Going to continue going down here. We're going to read a couple more out loud. Ecoin put Aloha JV and Crypto News Alerts fam. Everyone have a good weekend and stay safe. Stack them sats. And Hodl, you already know. That's right. And Matt says, I think the bottom is in. I also think $100,000 Bitcoin will be reached by 2025. I agree. How many of you agree with Matt? Drop a comment below. And we're going to read the last one here. Definitely the price of Bitcoin bottom he's referring to here by Kiwi says is in at $17,500. Let me know if you feel that the bottom is in, or do you feel a double bottom is likely to come, or do you feel we have much longer to drop from here? Holla at your boy in the comments. And so far, what are your thoughts? What's happening this year of 2022? Are things going according to your expectations? Probably not. But welcome to crypto. Bitcoin is on its own vector and it does its own thing. And typically the market will react the opposite of what retail investors are expecting. But that keeps us on our toes, and that's what keeps this industry so exciting. That's why it is what it is. Big come-ups to be made. Again, we're in a bear market right now. The long-term wealth is going to be built now from accumulating and stacking those sats. So now is the time. Now let's dive right into the big finish and wrap up what we covered here in today's show, especially for those of you just tuning in here more recently. I broke down top analysts as breakout rallies for Bitcoin and Ethereum will leave the bears in disbelief. And I shared his target, which for the King Crypto is a 40% rally to hit 27,000, which you can see here in this chart. We also discussed Plan B, saying that 20,000 is the new 4,000 is the stock the flow is predicting a six-figure Bitcoin price at around 2024, 2025. We also discussed less than 5% of the global population is currently invested in crypto, and Kanye West, aka Ye, he's upset at JP Morgan for being threatened to freeze his account. He says, I put 140 million into JP Morgan and they treated me like ish. I am outraged, and I hope other celebrities are outraged outraged as well, and they move all of their wealth into Bitcoin. We also discussed a takeover of Bitcoin nodes and dethroning Apple and the big tech giants such as Google and Amazon around the world. And we also discussed crypto attorney predicting the next move in Ripple and XRP lawsuit after the SEC evidence setback, and I shared the latest updates surrounding this case. And of course, we discussed the top 3 altcoins to accumulate right now for the new bull cycle, according to Invest Answers, with those 3 altcoins being Ethereum rival Solana, Phantom plus scaling solution Polygon / Matic. We also discuss Bitcoin's next bull run will start next year in 2023, according to the Bitwise CEO, who reminds us here that the fortunes are made in the bear markets. Preach. Also in today's show, we discuss on-chain analyst Willy Woo says Bitcoin, the king crypto, is on track to hit 1 billion unique users by 2025, which means within the next 3 years, as he shares here. And we also, of course, took a look at the overall crypto market. And as you can see, we got some green back here, but barely in the green and barely holding on to support. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below. And as always, fam, I appreciate y'all tuning in so very much. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Hit that bell icon, turn on all notifications, drop a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode.